What I want to talk about this week is I just want to talk about some planetary placements that are going on. And I want to start with, I think, the most obvious thing out of this is that the sun is in Capricorn. So this started the 22nd of December, and it's going to last until the 19th of January of 2022, which is 6. And 6 energy is all about connection and harmony and, caring for one another. So when the sun's in Capricorn, we're really, really driven to accomplish so many things. This is a time to think about what we want, in our lives, what we need in our lives, what we're committed to, our commitments, and, what are our goals and just purpose and a lot of valuable things. So it looks at our responsibilities, or how disciplined are we, our social status, ambition, and respect for law and order. So Capricorn derives much satisfaction to the feeling of completion, accomplishment, and about the quality of things, time is money, and the excellence going into those things. Because, let's face it, in order to get to the top of the mountain, we need to climb up and we need to take those practical steps. Success doesn't just happen, it takes time and it takes hard work and it takes persistence for that goat to climb up on the mountain. And so go all those things. We need to take action, we need to keep going. All of these things very related to Capricorn. And it also looks at what is tangible, what is feasible, and what is not feasible. And looking at an established framework and knowing boundaries and limitations, because Saturn ruling Capricorn is also the planet of restriction. So restricting yourself, cutting off the distractions from your path and from what you need to achieve in working for this long-term goal, which will really, really pay off. And the more you put in, the more you get out. So now we're going to be looking at Mercury in the sign of Capricorn. So that is December 13th, 2021 through January 2nd, 2022. So when Mercury is in Capricorn, we become very realistic and very practical in our thinking, wanting to make the list, very down to earth, no nonsense, thinking in a very realistic way about things, about the serious things. We're very serious minded and methodical, sober, could also come in with this as well, and very grounded, down to earth. We can really focus on the tasks at hand. Now, our conversations are also quite realistic and focus on business or practical matters. So, thought patterns, communication styles become more logical, orderly, and organized as well. How are we saying this? Does it sound good? Does it sound kind? Does it sound specific? Does it sound like it makes sense? Does it sound like, I'm serious and I'm really meaning what I'm saying? I mean, all these types of things with communication. So it's also sorting out what is relevant and what is essential. What's important, what really matters. We're very, very realistic. Our speech becomes no nonsense, and precision becomes important to us. We also have strong survival instincts, really committed to get out of it, very earthy. We're interested in long-term benefits. So we're interested in what is real, getting real. So we want to get to the point. We want to get to what matters. We don't want to skirt around and beat around the bush. So there can be some reserve in communication. It can become guarded or cautious, and also not very floral or expressive, because Capricorn can also be a sign in which we really, don't really show our, too many emotions and feelings and all those types of things, because I think that a belief is that if we just make decisions based off of our intellect and logic and all those things, then as humans we can achieve and accomplish so much more, and we can make more money and so many, with the industries and I mean so many things with that. Very focused and neutral in our feelings. So we gravitate to concrete subjects and information that's logical, useful, and well organized. We also might become methodical in our studying. So, and we also take our fantasies we have also, it's a great opportunity to turn those into real goals, real things that we can accomplish. We have dreams, we have vision, and Capricorn can, the practical steps to climb up that ladder and, achieve this or that with realistic outcomes. Now, looking at Mercury and Capricorn, they're not the most open, if you will. So, also being conscious of our rigidity of thinking, not being so stuck in by the book, this is what I know, this is the way that I've done it, this is the way that I know it, there's no other way, I'm sticking to this, this is traditional, all those things, but being open. I mean, we wouldn't have trains, we wouldn't have cars, we wouldn't have phones, TVs, if we didn't go towards Aquarius. So being open to new things and taking the Capricorn and combining it with the Aquarius, which is, an air sign, very, very advanced, and it's thinking and serving humanity as well, always a higher frequency for humanity. And this could also come across as pessimism, cold and harsh. Knowing the difference between realism and pessimism. Realism that is positive, that is optimistic, that we really, achieve, and it sounds bright. But we don't want to become so realistic that we're so into those negative areas or aspects, or, falling prey to, or, being a victim, like this is just how it is, and, we can't do anything. And I mean, it's not uplifting in the energy. How do you think Capricorns have the drive and the ambition, and, taking on the role of leadership and all of these things, that would not be there if there was not optimism or the spark, the drive there. Because going through the motions of life does not sound uplifting or convincing or inspiring by any means, or, stretch of the imagination. So, we may lack humor, tending towards more sarcasm or realistic humor that's more bone dry, shall we say. There's also a stubbornness with our ideas and methods which could come in. So this is a good time to make solid, realistic plans and getting organized, making a list, doing all this. It's also time to advise, teach, and guide. Because Capricorns are really there to help you, serve you, do all those things, and they can really, at a very high level, teach you, and guide you with a lot of wisdom, because they're old. So another thing is they age backwards. They're very disciplined, hardworking, all that when they're younger, and they remain the same as they get older. But there's more of a lightening up quality. There's more of a, relaxed, laid back, the fun, the lighter side of life. All of those things that, the Capricorn, with square to Libra, which is the beauty side of life, which is the quarter moon that I talked about in another video. So lightening up. So we're concerned about social status. Capricorn is all about how, the world sees us. How, what impact are we going to make in the world? How do we want the world to see us and know us as, and what are we putting out into the world? Really, really matters to them. And, it is believed by the sign of Capricorn that really does matter. And it does in those earthy areas. So, reaping rewards from our responsibility, planning ahead, and mapping out our next steps. It's time for New Year's resolutions. But also being open to the change and being adaptable and flexible towards the changes that could occur. So our reactions can be sensible, cool, and level-headed while Mercury is in the sign of Capricorn. So now we're going to be looking at Venus being in Capricorn from November 5th, 2021 through March 6th of 2022. So this is a long time of retrogrades. There's going to be some retrograde action going on. So, Venus moved into the sign of Capricorn on the 17th of November of 2021, and it began its retrograde on December 9th, December 19th, joining up with Pluto around that time. And then it will go direct again on the 29th of January, and March 6th, 2022 is when it moves out of Capricorn into Aquarius. So from January 29th through March 5th, Venus is direct in Capricorn. So this really, really looks at, getting serious about our finances, boosting our relations with business partners and or co-workers will be easier under this influence. So reflecting on what we value, what is the effort that we're putting into this? What is the quality? Because Venus in Capricorn really values hard work, really values things that are very excellent, things that are very high quality, people who are very serious in very much areas of life, especially beauty, because they have such a high taste for the material value of things which cost so much, that were made with a lot of time and effort and care and real dedication. All of those types of things, with Venus being in Capricorn, so very high-end things as well, since Venus also rules beauty and values. So our talents for creating artistic structures and forms are enhanced, and our ability to form connections with people who support our ambitions increases. So we also value enduring connections, reliability and faithfulness, dedication, commitment. We want those, connections from others that are committed and, loyal and, really getting to know someone very, very well and really caring about somebody. So, we express our feelings in very serious ways, and it can take time to kind of warm up to others, because it can be a little of a detached sort of way about it. Keeping our cool in relationships. We're very steady, seeking genuine, perhaps old-fashioned connections. Simple, connections, without the, fluff and drama and all of those things going on. Because Capricorn is very traditional. So, we can be somewhat guarded and reserved when it comes to expressing our feelings and revealing our relationships. So, the underdog working hard can have their time, really, this is their time. So we value slow and steady effort and long-term prospects. And also the reliability that goes along with this as well. So this cycle favors getting along with higher ups, conservative business goals and ventures, long-term investments, and matters related to pension. So, yeah. So, also looking at money is a huge part of the values. So, thank you for tuning in to this video on the planets in Capricorn.